Charles White is our centre. And the assistants are Claire Green. There's an A on Claire. Yep. The second assistant is Emma Hall. And fourth official is Brenton Copper. That's fine, he's only important. He just holds up himself.
Everyone.
Welcome to North Hobart Oval. I've nearly said KG5. Well, there you go. Force of habit. We're opening the season tonight for the PFD Women's Super League here at the fantastic looking North Hobart Oval. The surface looks an absolute treat as we kick things off with the Women's Super League here. Hobart Zebras and South Hobart in a rematch of last week's Summer Cup final. It was the Zebras who were too strong on that occasion. It was a fantastic game of football though, and hopefully we get something similar this evening. I'm Andrew Calling, bringing this one to you. Paul Hunt will be joining me shortly, but flying solo for the first 15 minutes of this game. So let's kick things off by having a look at the teams taking part tonight, starting with the hosts, Hobart Zebras.
Number 5.
And it's a strong Zebras lineup they've got out there tonight. They've been boosted by the addition of Lucy McGregor coming into the team, pretty similar to the side that took the pitch last week. I'll have them up for you in just a second. And Casey Ponting in goals, Kayla Mason. We saw her start on the wing before moving into defence last week. Number 4, Alessia Colanzi. Number 5, Erin Delaney. Those two were the fullbacks last weekend. Madeline O'Brien, you'd expect to see her lining up at centre half. Alyssa Bowden, one of the best midfielders in the business. Lucy Johnson, she floated all around the pitch and did as she willed. She'll be crucial again tonight. Monique Undy started as a central defender before moving in to a central striking role in the second half. Caitlin Roberts, another one of the new recruits from the Warriors, very versatile player. Lucy McGregor and Georgia Burt on the bench. Sarah Morris, Rachel Riddler, Janie Archer and Alana Kalanzi. So the defending champions Zebras looking very strong there. South Hobart, well, they've got a few out from last week's team, notably Phoebe Jakic not there, or Isabella Ferry after she got injured. So that's a big blow. They'll be leaning heavily, I think, on Elaine Fader tonight. She's going to have to carry the bulk of that attacking load. In goals, number 1, Margot Johnson. The fullbacks, Emma McCulloch and Sophie Westwood. And in defence there, Alini Mutsatsos and Mackenzie Gossage. Number 6, Mary Coyle, line up in midfield. Was super impressed with Georgie Carter last week. And she just ran the show for South in midfield. And you'd expect is going to be a very important player for her side again tonight. As I touched on before, Elaine Fader is going to be a real eye catcher, I guess, this year, zooming down the flank. She's got serious wheels, gave Zebras a torrid time last week, and you know she's going to be crucial for South Hobart's fortunes if they are to cause the upset here in this season opener. The rest of the team, Naomi Beryl, number 15, Abby Clark, and 17, Rebecca Kelly. A couple of new players getting a go this week with those injuries and absentees on the bench. The goal scorer from last week, number 8, Pishon Choi, Nikki Mutsasos and Phoebe Winter. So just the 3 on the bench. South Hobart a little bit stretched for this season opener, and with a few of their key players out, they will come in as the big underdogs. But as we saw last week, they are a fantastic side on the rise, and they'll give Zebras quite the fight. So we have a look at the Zebras team, undefeated since September of 2016. The streak just keeps extending. One day it's going to end. I'm not sure that will be tonight, though. They'll come in expecting to start this season as they ended the last one, as they kick off their first game for the season here at the lovely North Hobart Oval. Of course, we'll see this ground used again on Anzac Day, but the season opener, really couldn't ask for a better pitch for it. Charlie White, our official, out there in the middle today. On the lines, Emma Hall and Claire Green. So all is in readiness here for the start of the PFD Women's Super League for this season 2018. They're all back to square one. It was all Hobart Zebras last year. Will that be the case again in 2018? We were about to find out as we embark on this new season. The Zebras looking to make some early inroads here. It looks like Monique Undies once again going to be lining up as a centre forward. Trying to make some things happen on the far side of the ground there was Bowden, and she plays it back to Kalanzi. And Kayla Mason is indeed playing at centre back, so it looks like the move that was made that in many ways won the game last week for the Zebras has been put in from the start here, as trying to pounce on that one for South Hobart was Sophie Westwood, who seems to be playing a bit further up the pitch after lining up as the left back last week, so perhaps a couple of absences. Craig Westwood shuffling his deck a little bit. Long ball cut out there, but Undy wins it back, and that's what she's really going to excel. Lucy McGregor, her first game as a Zebra, and her first touch is a good one. It finds Lucy Johnson, drops the shoulder and looks to charge Garwood, but it was broken up in there by Coy. Here's McGregor again, back to Georgia Burt, spreading the play wide. Roberts out after this one. Combining there with McGregor. It's a huge pitch, this one. There's a lot of space to operate in. Bigger than the KG5 dimensions, I would suspect, just looking at it. And it really is light carpet out there. It's certainly going to be a challenge for the players to adjust to. The wider expanses here as Margot Johnson gets South Hobart going again. They'll look to build from the back. Play it forward. One back by Georgia Bird of Zebras though. And she's felled, and that's an easy decision there for Mr. White to give. I think we're going to see this pattern that's been established early, fairly prevalent throughout the game. You expect Zebras to dominate the possession and the territory. South Hobart are going to need to hold on. This one swung in dangerously. No one making that run though, and Johnson, whose distribution is always on point, works it out there, but Delaney scrapping away, gave a little kick there to fade up. That'll be a free kick. So it looks like Sophie Westwood leading the line tonight for South Hobart. She lined up at left back last week, so a real change in roles. The youngster. Gossage works it up the line. That was broken up by Delaney. Here's Undy. Delaney into the middle. Georgia Burt. Back to Monique Undy. Plenty of time. She picks out Bowden. Clever little flick that from Lucy Johnson. Now McGregor. That play well broken up, and back the other way comes Georgie Carter, who spreads a long diagonal that Fader's going to try and track down. But even the wheels of Fader can't reach that one. I'd like that combination as perhaps South's best chance of getting a goal in this game. Something happening in midfield courtesy of Carter. Looking to use the pace of Fader in behind on the left. She's going to need to be big tonight for the Zebras, and she puts this one into touch. Season opener here at North Hobart Oval, a big double header. The same teams meeting at 7:45 in the NPL. As the Zebras look to make a little footprint here at the wonderful North Hobart Oval. Scrap in midfield there between Carter, and eventually they look to move it forward. Cut out again by Georgia Burt. Played an outstanding game in that Summer Cup final. And second in the voting for the best on ground to Lucy Johnson. It's a narrow run thing. So here's Kayla Mason. She's turned this one over straight to Fader, who gets around Delaney and then gets around Mason. There's still plenty back in coverage though for the Zebras. Melissa Bowden was the one He cut it up nicely, Roberts. Dropping it off centrally for Burt. They slow it down, but it still finds its way to the dangerous Lucy Johnson, who immediately gets her head up and runs at goals and fires from distance into the top corner. It's a near mirror image of last week. Lucy Johnson goes bang from 25 yards, and the Hobart Zebras are off and racing in the 2018 Super League season. What a hit. From the moment she received the ball, she had one thing on her mind, and she executed that with aplomb. Have another look at it. That's a fantastic hit. Johnson, full stretch, can't get near it. And Lucy Johnson does, as she so often does, and hits at the back of the net with an impressive strike. So how will South Hobart now respond? An errant kick there. The answer they were looking for from Naomi Beryl there. Delaney takes the throw in. Finds Georgia Burt. Now Roberts. Into the middle for Bowden. Bowden back to Roberts. Now Burt. Quick release is good for Bowden. Can she get him behind down the right? No. Checks back and plays it to Roberts. Well won by Fader. Not neglecting her defensive duties there, the youngster. Really everyone in this South Hobart team pretty young. Very inexperienced side. Certainly an exciting future ahead of them. They gave a fantastic account of themselves last weekend. They responded to an early Johnson goal in that game, so they won't be too overawed or lacking in a response, you'd think, but it is a stronger Zebras team than they put out last week, and there are a few missing from the South Hobart side. There's been decidedly one-way traffic in the opening 7 minutes here. Zebras looking slick on this North Hobart surface, knocking the ball around well. That's well cut out though by Gossage. Here's Bowden threading it through. Cut out at the back again though by Mutsatsos. A good pass. Can South Hobart build something here? Shut down by Kalanzi. Carter looking to get involved, but Lucy McGregor just plays it back to O'Brien. Looking very comfortable out there at the moment. Georgia Burt. Kalanzi back to Mason. That's taken a touch off a South Hobart player, and it'll be a throw in the Zebras' way. Johnson presenting. And just works it across to her captain, Maddie O'Brien, who looks to charge forward now for the Zebras. Looks it out to Caitlin Roberts. First time pass to Delaney. They force the turnover here, South, and Fader gives a little 1-2, then takes off down the left, but the pass was a bit too central and allowed Maddie O'Brien to sweep across and deal with it in a typical commanding fashion. Been an absolute rock since her move to defence. Early last season as Maddie O'Brien. There's Georgia Burt, again prominent early. They're just using her as the outlet every time here, because when they get her the ball, they know she's going to spend it well. Very rarely wastes the touch, does Georgia Burt. One's out of play, and it'll be a Zebras throw in. So it's the Zebras decidedly on top so far. 8.5 minutes into the contest. The lights are starting to come on, but not really required. The sun still very much shining here at North Hobart. Should be a fantastic evening of football. There's Delaney. Heaves this one forwards. Roberts won the header, but could only nod it out of play. Just a long throw over the head of McGregor. Westwood unable to get on it, so Carter plays it to her. Gets a foot back on the ball here, Georgie Carter. Now tries to thread the eye of the needle. Kalanzi's across to deal with it all. Not dealt with it all, though. But in the end, no real worries. It rolls safely into the hands of Casey Ponting. And a very good evening to my co-commentator Paul Hunt, who's just slid in alongside me. Got away from work easily enough then, Ponting.
Perfect run up Argyle and Campbell streets today here. None of this nonsense about Hobart's congestion issue. Got up there in 20 minutes flat out of work, which isn't a bad effort, and I'm looking forward to this game. Copped a fair bit of stick about my lack of punctuality on the way from a few quarters there, but that's all right. All's fair in love and war here. Been a good game so far. Did miss the goal though, which is unfortunate. Wasn't expecting such an early sighting on goal there from the Zebras.
I'll give you one guess who scored it.
I'm going to say someone whose initials are L and J.
I think you'd be right with that one. Well, the top window number from the ever-reliable Lucy Johnson has got the Zebras off and running in 2018. The only real chance of the game so far. That Zebras looking pretty comfortable. Lucy McGregor's been involved in that midfield. It's a strong midfield group they've got. And there's a turnover though as Fader looks to run it. O'Brien tries the long shot. Really get all of it though, and it's easy enough for Ponting. But a first side of goal there for South Hobart.
Certainly is, as you see the ball picked up, well intercepted there. And Zebras. Odin playing it out wide. There's two up and advance for Zebras. Nice turn, but immediately crowded out by South Hobart. Now on the break. Looking for options. There's one further forward, but the ever reliable Eddie O'Brien will come across and cut that one out. Just wrap her left leg around that one rather well. Ends up winning a corner, so I'm sorry, a throw in. So done well there on the non-preferred foot. O'Brien takes the throw in short in the direction of Bird. Back to O'Brien in a more familiar role. Lucy Johnson playing up top. It's a lovely through ball and it's paced down the wing. It's a good honest contest down here, but unfortunately just getting in front was the South Hobart player.
Throw in now.
Number 9,
Loaded.
Lucy Johnson. Zebras now lead.
Goal announcement coming slightly delayed there.
As the home team is on the top of the scoreboard.
But this was the right solo here. I'm not sure what the ground announcer's excuse is.
Absolutely no excuse there. At least she didn't have me to prattle on the other side.
She's trying to do it again here, Johnson. Trying to catch Margot Johnson off her line and smashing one from 30 yards. That one comfortably enough dealt with, but I think it's going to be a similar policy to what we saw at KG5 last week from Lucy Johnson, which is very much shoot on sight. Can't argue with the results thus far. Mason works it forward. There is the aforementioned Johnson. That's a good pass to Burt. Trying to find Monique Undy, but that's easily cut out there at the back by Beryl. And now Carter. Ran straight into Georgia Burt and then jinked back the other way. Lovely stuff there from Carter. I mentioned very impressed with her game last week. Looks like a real key mover in the engine room of this South Hobart side. Amy Clark combining with Carter. She has been busy early in this one. Errant pass trying to find Sophie Westwood. Georgia Burt just waited on and then had her pocket picked. Charging through Moutsatsos. Does well and had a shirt grab, so wins the free kick.
Done very well in the centre of the park there now. Wrapping my head around the South Hobart team sheet. Surprised to see Fishon Choi on the bench. Thought she was absolutely outstanding last week in that game. But free kick to South Hobart. Look towards Gossage, but ends up pumping it long. It's a good headed clearance. Into the centre of the park where McGregor takes control. Just a good intercept there from Fader. Another one of the standouts from this youthful South Hobart team last week. Now Zebras back on the attack. And through the middle of the park. Lovely touch again. Undy. Quite thread that one through. South Hobart getting it out wide. I think that's a good plan out there to get it out to Fader. Try and use her one-on-one skills, but stood up there by Delaney. Go back. Zebras just not being able to get from midfield to attack at the moment. They put the ball up high enough up the pitch. It's just transitioning it to that attacking play. South Hobart are doing very well at cutting that out.
They're making themselves hard to break down, and really it wasn't a result of build-up play that they brought undone on the goal. Just a wonderful individual effort from range. So Lucy McGregor has been prominent early. I think she's going to enjoy stepping into this Zebras team, playing alongside the likes of Bowden and Bird in midfield. It's a fairly handy trio. And they've managed to assemble in there, charging out of defence. Burt surely infringing, and indeed Charles White making that decision after seeing that there was no advantage. Take the free backwards here. Gossage, plenty of time. Zebras getting back en masse there. They play themselves into a little bit of trouble, but work their way out of it on the far side. Now looking to drive the overlap here is McCulloch. What can she do? She plays the ball centrally, which should be easily cut out by Delaney. Wasn't dealt with by Erin Delaney. Coughed it straight back up. Ball won by Kalanzi. In the middle, Mary Coy. Now Bowden. Undy again with the hold-up play. It's a new wrinkle in this Zebras team, and it looks an effective tactic. It's nothing doing here as South look to counter-attack. Can Carter get a foot on the ball? She works it backwards again for Abby Clark. They've been busy. South are just starting to get a little bit of a foothold in the last few minutes here. No real penetration in the final third, but they're starting to get a bit more of the possession and just perhaps find a bit more comfort in this game after a dominant start from the champions.
Bit of commentator's curse on their call. As soon as you're talking up their possession, gave it immediately away to Zebras. As ball in behind, you see that one chased down, goes for the chip, and oh, it's mishandled again. Coming in is Undy. Good save. Undy again, third attempt. And that is 2-0 for the Zebras. Took a few attempts there, did Monique Undy, but eventually putting that one in the back of the net. Just a long, hopeful ball over the top in the direction of Caitlin Roberts, streaming down the right-hand side, and Undy, the second time of asking.
Yeah, just pushed it back out. Great second save from Johnson. Could do nothing about the third, but just needed to push that first one past the post. A bit too central, and Undy gets her account off and running for the season. Not someone I would have expected 2 weeks ago to be a contender perhaps for the Golden Boot, but if she's going to be playing up top in this Zebras team, she'd have to be right up there, you'd imagine.
Absolutely. It is certainly a surprise. I mean, a few people who can play in the attacking lineup possibly to come back in. Just noticing Kanagiza on the bench, and she was in a moon boot the other week. It's
fair to say she won't be setting foot on the pitch, I think, Paul.
I was a bit curious at that when I saw moon boot last week and team sheet this week. That's a miraculous recovery, but good to see her on there. Ball pumped forward. Eventually cut out from Kayla Mason, who's partnering O'Brien in the centre of defence this week. Turned over towards Fader. Mason gets it back. Very versatile is Kayla Mason, centre back this week and right wing last week.
Number 10, Monique Undy.
Not quite the delay on the goal announcement as the first one, within about 5 minutes this time, which is always good. Intercepted, taken away from Burt, but she works well tracking back. Delaney. Now to O'Brien. To Kayla Mason. Stepped forward from the centre back role. Good body work out on the wing. Now just trying to communicate. Now to Delaney. Roberts is ahead. Possibly a bit too much for her to chase down there. And Beryl should be able to get that one. Good pass to Gossage. South Hobart not afraid to play out of defence here. Nice triangle passing down in their own defensive third. And eventually blocked out by Roberts, but good bit of patience there from South Hobart, not just rushing it forward. Just trying to play their way out of defence. And I agree with your write-up during the week calling. I think come maybe the second or third round of matches that we have in the Women's Super League, I reckon they'll be one of the forces of the competition.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a development year for them, but with Olympia obviously dropping out, I think there's no reason that they've already beaten Kingwa in the pre-season. Ulverston are a bit of an unknown quantity. There's no reason they can't push for a top 4 berth as Lucy Johnson gets round and puts this one just past the post. Margot Johnson tipping it around there. Does well to cover the angle this time. But drew a crowd and still ended up in 5 yards of space at the end of it. Lucy Johnson just having a real torrid time trying to deal with her threat in the opening 20 minutes here.
And if that partnership of Undy and Johnson takes off this year, probably the first, except for last week, one of the first times they've probably played together in such a combination so far up the field. If that gets going, watch out, Golden Boot records.
Yeah, I'd imagine it'll be pretty competitive over that one. As the corner will be swung in here by Maddie O'Brien. Right into the mixer. Keeper flaps it. Falls out the back there to Lucy Johnson. Her volley was off target. And South Hobart clear the area. But with a deflected drive, Johnson again lurking. Margot grabbing this one. And the customary long throw has them off in the blink of an eye. That's great distribution from the keeper. That's even better defending from Alessia Kalanzi though. Did that beautifully and then threaded it through for Lucy Johnson, who's running at the defence. She tried to jig inside there, and Naomi Beryl has done ever so well. What a crucial challenge for her side. Into the middle. South Hobart going to recompose themselves. Zebras reasserting themselves on this game. One ball over the top is cut out by Kayla Mason, and it will be a throw-in on halfway.
Props to Kayla Mason for the fluoro boots tonight. Makes it very easy to spot from our commentary position here. I don't think we'll be missing her any time throughout the evening. Throw in taken from South Hobart towards Carter, then she plays it back out to McCulloch. And good battle on the wing there. Eventually won by McCulloch, so she'll get the throw in and launch it again. Miscommunication between South Hobart. I think Carter was running towards the wing and teammate thought it was going through the middle. Lovely bit of skill from Burt. Back to O'Brien, now to Delaney. Zebras again doing what South Hobart were doing before, playing it around nicely. And Kayla Mason. Just under hit that one slightly for Kalanzi, but with a heavy touch on the intercept from Kelly. Kalanzi gets a second chance. To Johnson, who's exceptionally well on that left wing. Man, that's surely a foul. That went right through the back of the Zebras player there, Lucy Johnson. I don't know what you thought about that. I thought it was right in the back.
Yes, it seemed to be. As Maddie O'Brien will sweep up in defence. And in the end, I'm not sure the AFL score was quite coping with these team names overly well as I cast my eye over there, Phil. We can see the 2 and the 0, but I'm not sure who's playing at all. It's Hobart.
Well, it's not even missing letters, it's just missing the top half, so it's not really making a whole lot of sense.
But the score is 2-0. That much is clear, and it's in the Zebras in firm command of this one. Again, that's what Monique Undy's going to be so good at in this centre forward role, the hold-up play. As Caitlin Roberts trying to get involved. Lucy McGregor won it back well. Slight suspicion of handball. And that's how Charlie White saw it. Lucy Johnson says, I'm having this, and goes the immediate release, and it's the post! Oh, not far away. For the moment the whistle went, she sensed the chance, and before they were ready, she had smashed it into the bar. No one was even looking. Keeper was beat, and that is inches away for another spectacular goal. Lucy Johnson doing it easy here at North Hobart, making it her own personal playing park at the moment, Fuzzy.
I think all the other 5 teams in the Super League need to get some basketballers in, because she's going to do that chip shot all year, I've got a feeling. I've never seen someone have one predetermined idea. As soon as that free kick was given, there was Undy short, there was no goals of get the tall timber up. There was only one thing on Lucy Johnson's mind, and she's inches away from executing. Have another chance here, but slightly overhit and a rush clearance. Under significant pressure from the blonde ponytail trio of Roberts, Undy, McGregor, take your pick.
Yeah, the midfield, I'm not sure if that's a team policy or not. But it seems to be how you get in. Mr. Bowden may be the only one flouting that rule. Needs to watch out. Caitlin Roberts might be looking to snap up that midfield place. We saw Bowden play as a striker last week for a while there as Ponting pulls out the pitching wedge. Fader. Now Carter. Checks inside. Loving support. That'll be gifted straight back to Maddie O'Brien. And Mason able to raffle it. In the end, O'Brien plays it forward for Roberts, who's got the middle of the park, and she threads this one through beautifully for Lucy Johnson, who's in on goal. That's a fantastic stop, though. Margot Johnson, the kick save, just extended the leg there. I thought that was going to be 3-0. Well done, keeper. And what a ball from Caitlin Roberts. Just took the defence out of it. The danger not passed. This one's driven low and comfortably saved by Margot Johnson.
David De Gea like reflexes there with the feet from Margot Johnson. Close range save, sticking the big foot out. That's what we like to see from the goalkeepers, and got a bit more purchase on it than we saw with Zebra's second goal. So good play there from Johnson as another miscommunication up top. Sees Johnson end up with the ball. Tries to switch it across towards McGregor. Now Burt. Has to switch sides for the moment, Roberts and Johnson. Eventually cleared from South Hobart. Lindsay likes to have that one run out as I look up and see that very large cruise ship sailing down the Derwent, and now I'm here at the football, and that makes my life so much happier. As Zebras pick the ball back up again. It's an absolutely lovely sight of the Hobart skyline right there, and Fader nearly gets in, and slightly rush clearance from Delaney. Good pressure eventually. That'll be a corner kick. South Hobart's first of the game, I think. Yep. First one, certainly in the 20 minutes I've been here. A chance for him to get the tall timber up.
I think the problem there is Zebras are a taller side. We've seen South Hobart at NPL level big proponents of the short corner. We might see that again here, although Lucy Johnson's come across to shut down the option. You should never go to the short corner when they've got two defenders to your one, so we fully expect Fader to curl this one in, and she does just that. It's a good ball, no one gets the full of it. Now Carter, her shot was well blocked by Georgia Bird, putting the body on the line. Another chance perhaps for Carter. Flash past one. Fader tracks that one down.
This plays past.
Could have sworn she had blue strapping on her legs about 2 minutes ago, but
yeah, possibly fallen off, but Galanzi will clear that one. She gets it back and eventually pressured by two South Hobart players and somehow managed to split the middle. Looking forward towards Undy, but well cut out by Mitsatsis. Goes Beryl back for company and tries to go down the line. And the Zebras throw in. Galanzi down the line. Nice hold-up play, looking inside towards Georgia Burt, who will aim for the wing, and Lucy Johnson's in a bit of space, but just needed to angle that one a bit wider. Johnson making a bit of a straighter run. Gossage looking to play that one up top, and O'Brien comfortably collects in front of Sophie Westwood, who we saw out at left back last week and seen up top, so a bit of a change there, and Delaney was not expecting that one at all from her centre back partner.
Adrian Copper, our fourth official down there, just parking himself on the halfway line.
The OCD in me really wants him to move about a chair width to the left as we see Fader now looking to cross for Westwood, but blocked and picked up by Ponting, who launches a very, very high throw. That one Could have been speckied in a different sporting code at this ground. Eventually now cut through Westwood. Passed again in the box. And offside eventually given, but advantage paid as it's 4v5. Lucy Johnson in a bit of space trying to thread the needle and eventually cut out there from Beryl. And to get some purchase on that one. And a fader. And well clipped there by Delaney. Good tight marking. And lovely, delightful ball to Johnson. And that's a punch clearance, a little underarm kind of volleyball set almost.
Yeah, well,
From Margot Johnson.
just knocking it away. Achieve the desired result, I guess. So I'll be happy enough. Allows the defence to get back in position here. 2-0 the score as we reach the half-hour mark on this season opener. The Zebras, so dominant in 2017, have made a very good start to the 2018 season as well. Here's Kayla Mason back for Alyssa Bowden. He's dropping a little bit deeper at the moment. That's going to test out Johnson, but she'll track this one down. Have a lot in support. It's a fullback to cow assist, and Delaney eventually gets the ball. Her pass is chopped off in midfield though by Carter. Worked it back for Coy. Now where's the option? They want to work it down the right, but they had no real wide option to go to. In the end, forced back into the retreat, and they'll defend. Oh, Johnson almost forces the turnover there. Here's Moutsatsos. Gossage rather. Lucy Johnson. Centering ball. Back to Lucy McGregor. Now Georgia Burt. Bowden. Good passing, but good structures here from South. Johnson. That was a little bit lazy, that one. Just trying the cross in there, but shanking it off the side of the boot.
Yeah, probably just put the head up a little too early and lean back there, Johnson. But after half hour, it's pretty much all one-way traffic after probably a little 5-minute spell of where South Hobart managed to get on top of the play. Beryl now seeking options. Vader drops short. And tries to get it through to Gossage, but Delaney's clearly been told to tightly mark Fader at all possible opportunities and does that well. Falls back out to Beryl, who splits about 3 of her teammates. Goes to O'Brien. Mason very coolly done to get around the defender, but Carter just about gets a foot in. Mason under pressure from Westwood. Good pass from Westwood out to Carter. Just the one up in the box at the moment. Westwood battling hard, but that's very good defence by Kalanzi. Harassment on the far side from Carter. Jinked out well by Caitlin Roberts. Now to Bowden. Miscommunication with Lucy Johnson. She wanted the through ball. And Gossage with Fader on the left. And Westwood couldn't quite come over quick enough. Slowed a bit short there, and O'Brien gallops forward with 4 to 5 to aim for. Roberts is on the far side. And a couple charging forward. And now the chip through goes over the top, but also over the top of the goal. Johnson cutting inside from the right wing to become the focal point of attack, but again, the chip shot not quite coming off.
Not sure a coach would be quite thrilled with the decision making there, but given her habit of popping them in, can't say I blame her. As Roberts works this one in the Undy direction, but it's cut out by Coy. Starts off chipping forward, looking for Westwood, who's surrounded by Zebras. They've done well to come away with this, South, but the through ball is to no one up there. Kelly playing it, but no one making the run. Here's O'Brien. Ryan to Bowden, across to Bird. Now out wide for Delaney. Pretty keen to keep it on the deck for the most part. The Zebras. Some nice build-up play from them in this first 35 minutes. They won't play on a better surface than this all year, that's for sure. Very much a ground suited for a nice ground passing game. Roberts out there scrapping away with McCulloch. Just looking for Undy, who shows great strength to hold off a defender and then rolls it across to Georgia Burt. She fancies the shot from range. That was well charged down though. And McCulloch just puts it into touch. So Undy showing good strength in that centre forward role. Really allowing her midfielders to link up.
Have a look at that replay of Georgia Burt. Very good pressuring there from South Hobart. Carroll coming across. Delaney with a long throw. Again wins the header over Fader. Johnson's out the back calling for it. Doesn't elect to go there, but ends up in the centre of the park, and Undy gets a little bit under it.
There's Lucy McGregor firing on that one. And put the hand up in apology, but did sit there temptingly for the midfielder, crossing two zebras from University. Smashing that one well wide. But, she's a very good pickup for the Zebras here in this midfield. They get even stronger here. Here's Roberts chipping in the middle, looking for Georgia Burt. Burt to O'Brien. O'Brien to Johnson. Just looking to drive past McCulloch, who would not let her pass. That was well defended. They work it forwards. Kayla Mason is on hand for the Zebras. They're looking pretty comfortable in defence. Kalanzi with a rather risky turn. Right on cue again. We're informed early with the commentator's curse here, but they've pulled through, and now Zebras charging back the other way. McGregor's tried to run perfectly, I thought, but the assistant referee disagreed and stuck the flag up.
Oh, we'll have to have another look at that. I thought she timed that expertly well. And very, very tight call. It was Beryl who just needed to step up, and if we freeze frame it just as the pass is made, possibly one more frame necessary. About there. Oh, I tell you what, we need one of those lines they bring out the VAR for that one, I think. That is an exceptionally tight call.
I'm going to back the assistant in. I thought on that replay that was offside. So I reckon that's a good call. To my eye live, I thought onside absolutely, but I changed my mind after saying that.
Outside of any calls directly on the centre line, I don't think we're in line with anything up here tonight. So it'll be interesting as Roberts gets that one with Undy and Johnson up ahead. There's it back. And now to Bowden. Roberts. Now to McGregor. Again, has 2 to 3 up there, and Undy really playing off the shoulder at the moment. Good intercept there from Mutsatsos. Throw out to McCulloch. There's Kelly up on the wing, but Kalanzi manages to win that one back, not quite controlled from Burt. Trip through ball only as far as Kayla Mason, or give Casey Ponding a wake-up call in Zebra's goals, keeping her alert. Manages to find Kalanzi, who couldn't quite get that one under control. McCulloch barging through. Back out to McCulloch, who sends the ball in. Fader's just about there, chests it down, trying to get it on the right foot, but good clearance from Delaney. Being absolutely shirt tight, and she has been all first half. Erin Delaney doing very well on the dangerous Fader.
Yeah, I thought Fader had a number last week, really gave her all sorts of trouble, but she's full back this week. Delaney put in a great 40 minutes, and that was a goal-saving challenge there, although Fader gets the better of O'Brien here. Coming across was Mason. That was strong. Had to make that challenge and did so. And he's the typical Kayla Mason style, absolutely no nonsense, and just shutting down a Fader attack there. South Hobart with their best couple of minutes of the game there, but can't quite unlock them. And now at the other end, it's worked forward here for Bowden. Holds off the attention of the defender, lays it back for Georgia Burt from range, and again they hit the woodwork. Twice from distance. It's been a coat of varnish in it. That was a spectacular hit from Georgia Burt. Just ran onto it and smoked it. That is a cracking hit. The keeper in trouble. She was beaten, but the post was not.
His first game's any indication. I'd hate to be the judge on the Women's Super League goal of the season. We've had about 3 near contenders already and hit the post. As that ball is, yeah. Producer just commenting on crossbar challenge. Clearly an event in Thursday night training at Zebras this week. Lucy Johnson. Very lanky style. And turning expertly in the middle of the park, but doesn't really have a whole lot on. So it goes back to Mason, who didn't quite get enough purchase on that one to get to Delaney. Again, battling with Fader. Safety first out for a throw-in. There's 5 minutes left of the first half. There's a 2-goal margin between the two teams at full-time last week, and 2 already at the moment, but South Hobart still committed to playing a very good style here today, and a very long run-up here from Gossage, and no wonder with the amount of air underneath that one. Mason gets us as far as Burt. O'Brien just thumps that one clear for Undy to chase onto, but McCulloch's got a fair bit of speed. Push that one forward. I think that was more of a clearance, but he ends up towards Kelly. Plays a lovely 1-2, but Mason comes across. Plays that covering defender role so well, does Kayla Mason. Saw that before with O'Brien. Now Bowden in the centre of the park. Johnson in space out on the right. Looking for options. Undy in the centre, thinks she wanted a wall pass there, Johnson, but Undy ran the other way. Delaney knocks that one inside to Bowden. Bryan looking for Bird, but well cut out. Fader trying to get past Delaney, but absolute super glue is Delaney in this first half. Throw-in taken by Gossage, and geez, I'd love to get a metre tracker on that one. That's got about 20 metres from her defence, and a lovely through ball from Bowden. Lucy Johnson's in as Roberts at the back post. Undy as well. Will she go herself? And very good covering challenge from Eleni Moutsatsos. Absolutely had to get a toe in there.
How about the work there from Bowden? Just skips round one, then with the left foot, the non-preferred, just plays in Lucy Johnson. That's wonderful stuff. And just showed a bit too much of it there to the centre back. Very nicely done by Moutsatsos, but Johnson just hesitated a moment. I think she was in 2 minds of whether to just unleash the shot or not, which is the first time she's shown any hesitance tonight.
Tried to flick that with the outside of the left, it looked like, which is a complete case of not quite in what mind to go with, but I'm sure she'll get more opportunities.
Maddie O'Brien on the corner duties. Kayla Mason's made a good run unmarked at the back post. Oh, she was almost on the end of it too, but Mary Coy got back. And then I think the less said about that effort, the better, as it spills out behind for a goal kick.
I couldn't agree more. It was a great run from Mason, and Coy really had to be on that ball. Mason had plenty of power in that run-up. As we see Johnston take the short goal kick. So it's off peeling wide. Finds McCulloch. Now Kelly, down Carter. And well intercepted from Lucy McGregor. Who gets out wide to Delaney, who's really tucked inside. Undy beaten out to it by Moutsatsos. Very good battle from the former teammates last year. Moutsatsos turning very well and trying for the crossfield ball to Kelly, but and he stuck out again from McGregor. Bowden, Georgia Burt, and there's Undy in the centre, Johnson out wide. Not to lay it off, but again, like the aerial ball before, I said about that one the better. There wasn't really anyone in the general vicinity.
This one's one back here by Roberts. Has played a lot in defence. Olympia starting out wide here for the Zebras, but their ability to win the ball back. Marie Lasser for a side. Throw to be taken. Well, every chance of getting on the TV commercial if you're in front of that man there. Getting involved on the action. That's where you want to be doing spectacular things tonight.
I reckon needs to get behind Gossage for one of those long throw-ins. A lovely looping one like that would be magic. Zebras now in the attack. Andy possibly offside at the shoulder of Moutsatsos, but safety first. I just hope they didn't get me collecting my ticket in. That would have been a very unattractive sight.
I'll make sure that doesn't pass final edits. Can't be having that ball. So throw in over the head of Undy. Margot Johnson will pick this one up, and perhaps one last chance here for South Hobart to conjure something up before the half-time break. It's been a first half played at a pretty good tempo. Both teams playing with a good style. Westwood out after this one, but pretty thankless task playing the lone striker role here tonight. Here's Georgia Burt. That one's broken up again into the middle, looking for Coy, who's muscled off it there by Georgia Burt. Got it to Undy, looking to play in Johnson. She might get another chance to do that. She does. She's onside. Lucy Johnson plays the first time for Roberts. And that's blocked behind, is it? Goal kick, okay. We have a look at the Zebra. We're very happy, Zebra. If you can figure out how to open the gate, I suppose.
Tell you what.
Happy with the scoreboard, though.
Caged animal there, the Zebra. He's having some trouble getting out there. And just strutting its way across the surface of North Hobart. Probably a distracting force there, as that one's intercepted off the toes of Johnson. Fader again. Delaney, as referee Charlie White calls half-time. It's opening round of the Women's Super League here at North Hobart Oval. Zebras probably had the large amount of possession and control of the game. South Hobart with a few patches in there, but the reigning champions, Hobart Zebras, showing why they have that title here today, as we'll have a look at the goals coming up soon. And pretty much gone according to plan so far, Cooling, in the first half.
Yeah, it's not had too many surprises this game. South have hung in there. They've tried to do their best, but they were given a real shock in the opening couple of minutes when Lucy Johnson did this. Good luck stopping that. That is top draw from Lucy Johnson. They were off to the races early. And look, the champions have done as we expected. They've controlled the possession for the most part. They've had the better chances, but yeah, South have defended pretty well considering the amount of pressure they've been under. There's nothing they could really do about that Lucy Johnson goal. And look, they'll hang in there. They fought pretty well last week. And the Zebras, however, are going to be feeling pretty confident with their first half. They'll come out now and look to finish the job. We'll be back with you with those images from the second half in around about 10 minutes time.
It's 2-0. The Zebras, a few attempts there did Monique Undy, but eventually getting that one in the back of the net.
A bit of an unknown quantity. There's no reason they can't push for a top four berth as Lucy Johnson gets round and puts this one just past the post. Margot Johnson to Hobart, clear the area. The deflected drive, Johnson again lurking. Margot grabbing this one. Kalanzi though did that beautifully and then threaded it through for Lucy Johnson, who's running at the defence. She tried to dig inside there, and Naomi Beryl is goal for Lucy McGregor. Won it back well. Slight suspicion of handball. That's how Charlie Weiss saw it. Lucy Johnson says, I'm having this, and goes the immediate release, and it's the post. Oh, not far away. Got the middle of the park and she threads this one through beautifully for Lucy Johnson, who's in on goal. That's a fantastic stop though. Margot Johnson kicks up. Kate Roberts just took the defence out of it. The danger not passed. This one's driven low and lovely save by Margot Johnson.
I expect you did a different sporting code at this ground. Eventually now cut through Westwood. Just again in the box. Offside eventually given. Charging forward, and now the chip through goes over the top, but also over the top of the goal.
It's great strength to hold off a defender, and then rolls it across to Georgia Bird. She fancies the shot from range. Will charge down though.
Out in the back calling for it. Doesn't elect to go there, but ends up in the centre of the park and Undy. A little bit under it.
It's Gersie in it, they'll pull through, and now Zebras charging back the other way. McGregor's timed to run perfectly, I thought, but the assistant referee disagreed.
To McCulloch, who sends the ball in. Faders just about there, chest down, trying to get it on the right foot, but
Great 40 minutes, and that was a goal-saving challenge there, although Fader gets the better of O'Brien here, coming across with Mason. That was strong. Add to Bowden.
I just wanted to make
Lays it back for Georgia. Burton again, they hit the woodwork. Nice with this.
on that one, that's about 2 metres from a defence and a lovely through ball from Bowden. Lucy Johnson's in as Roberts at the back post, Undy as well. Will she go herself? And very good covering
I
challenge.
must be here on this side.
Melanie Boutsard's off.
That's the corner duties. Kayla Mason made a good run unmarked at the back post. Very cool, he got back. That she does. She's onside. Lucy Johnson plays the first time for Roberts.
You want to do it back up again, otherwise it will.
Yeah.
Is that high enough?
Yeah, that's high. Do you work in BPEC now?
Yeah, but
Look at the zebra. Very happy with it. Score well, though.
Okay, Janival there, Zebras having some trouble getting out there.
no, yeah, I'm on staff, so
You do it every day?
every day for
Across the
yeah,
surface,
Premier.
North
I'm
Hobart.
pretty much around the state, but
Yeah.
most of the time it's
You must have been busy.
Intercepted off the toes of Johnson. Fader again. Laney as referee Charlie White calls half time. Opening round of the Women's Super League here at North Hobart Oval. Zebras probably had the large amount of possession and control of the game. North Hobart with a few patches in there, but the reigning champions Hobart Zebras showing why they have that title here today. We can have a look at the goals coming up soon.
lose ourselves in the spirit of things. We lose our sight when we put our trust in things of this material world, of things that fade away. Yet we keep coming back, 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 keep coming back. so misery, it's no mystery. And you and I, we got history, yeah. Wherever love flows, there is also tragedy when we're in too deep. And you and I, we got history, yeah. Go look in the mirror, say, hey, I'm sorry for all the pain. I'm sorry for all the pain. Go look in the mirror, say, hey, I'm sorry for all the pain. I'm sorry for all the pain. Go look in the mirror, say, hey, I'm sorry for all the pain. I'm sorry for all the pain.
Would be by law, I think.
Did they always have a camera?
And we're back. We have a look at the South Hobart team. Craig Westwood's Chargers. What response will they conjure in the second half? They're chasing the match. It's the Zebras holding sway. 2-0 through 45 minutes here at North Hobart Oval in the PFD Women's Super League season opening game. Part of a big doubleheader here at North Hobart this evening. As the sun sets now and the artificial light will start to take over. It's going to be a big task for this young South Hobart side. We saw in the second half last week they faded a little bit. Perhaps the youth versus experience there, but look, I think they had a good 5-minute period around about the 35-minute mark and a half, so they seem to be running it out all right. And I think the only real danger for Zebras is if they get a bit complacent, so no doubt they'll be looking to avoid that pitfall.
Yeah, hopefully they won't get too complacent in this second half. Really saw it last season through their absolute undefeated season they had. Get it off to a good start again. A little slower to get out of the change rooms. The Zebras, complete with budding mascot on the right-hand side. Don't know if the Zebra has a name here, but there we go. We'll be seeing plenty of that over the course of the evening and indeed the whole season. I don't even got any good nicknames for the Zebra.
Yeah, I'm not sure if there's an official name. Let us know if so. It's just the Zebra mascot as far as I know, but certainly something they could get creative with there. As Sophie Westwood plays it inside, and South Hobart looking to make the early inroads here, but Bowden broke that one up. Played forward by Kelly. Carter gets back on it and gets around Mason, then slides a little more through, trying to spring Westwood. Couldn't quite achieve it. South Hobart looking to start brightly, but that was classy there from Roberts. And she drew the foul in the process, which will relieve the pressure. Quickly taken into the middle for Lucy McGregor. She sends it wide for Lucy Johnson. Johnson just slaloming at them. Across to Bowden, threading it through for McGregor. And she tracked this one down. She's got two to cut it back to. She tried to sneak it in near post, I think. And Margot Johnson puts it behind for a corner. Not sure if that was a cross or a shot, but achieves a corner for her side.
I reckon she might have had
Threading
a
it through
shot
for
then.
McGregor.
here McGregor. Johnson took a step a little bit to the right and just had to get down very quickly and nearly snuck in as well underneath the left palm. So not the worst idea from McGregor as Zebras get their first corner of the second half. O'Brien, the captain, over the ball. Mason making a back post run. This one's going to go near and headed away by South Hobart for a corner kick. So we take two for O'Brien. We have a look at Beryl getting a good bit of force behind the ball there. O'Brien again, we're hoping to get a bit more purchase on this one. Johnson and Mason having a nice laugh at the edge of the 18-yard box.
Mason's again made that completely unmarked run. This one steered away, but they might want to pay attention to that, South. That's twice she just peeled off towards the back post, all on a lonesome. Lucy Johnson leads the defender back to the ball here and draws a foul in the end, I think. A bit of a shirt grab it must have been.
Must have been as Johnson went to turn the South Hobart player. Quick kick from Kalanzi. Burton Johnson between the two of them managed to sort that one out. Now McGregor spreads it wide to Delaney, who will resume her battle with Fader in this second half. Attacking further forward. Undy back to Bowden, who puts her foot through it. And it'll sail harmlessly over the goal for a goal kick, but potentially again Zebras going for that chipped option over Margot Johnston. It's happened in the first half with Johnson and last week, so it's clearly a plan that they're going with.
Yeah, they've been pretty quick to pull the trigger tonight, the Zeps. South Hobart trying to get it out of their own end here, but ran into Delaney. Here's McGregor, who sets it by going back to Mason. Slightly errant pass, made Bowden work for it. Now Carter, she changes direction so sharply, does Carter, and they threaten to be on for a second here with Westwood, but Maddie O'Brien has the situation well under control at the back. And Casey Ponting, who's been a virtual spectator, has coughed this one up. Well done, Kalanzi, getting a foot in. And she'll try and carry it out again. Carter winning it back for a side. A mountain of work in the midfield there this evening. Here's Rebecca Kelly in a bit of space. That's a chance to shoot. Instead opting to cross to the back post, and Delaney half cleared it. Back to Fader, who tries to take it around her, and Delaney read that one like a book.
I think Fader wasn't expecting that to come through to a Delaney who's been very, very good in the first half. Just overran that and then completely miskicked it, and Fader going to be slightly more on her toes and could have had an opportunity at goal, but the chance goes a begging. Delaney now with the throw in. So is Roberts, and it's well intercepted again by South Hobart, but Mason, as she always does, cleans up in the defence. O'Brien bumps that one clear. And this control will see that to Johnson. Undy trying to stay onside, and Johnson with a clever back heel to Bowden. Gregor lays that one forward. It's a lovely play, and Monique Undy coming through, but Margot Johnston quickly out of a goal to smother any chance of the Zebras getting a third there. Lovely bit of play from Fader, again needing some second defender help. McGregor calls for handball, not given. Now to Burt, now to Mason, who has three South Hobart players and just leaves the body in there on Georgie Carter. Not afraid to put a body about. McGregor set a bit of a task out wide. Just manages to keep it in. Will sit near post. Bowden getting beat out there by Mitsatsos. Zebras now with the throw in on the far side. The lights really now starting to turn on here at North Hobart as it's a lot darker here in Hobart a lot earlier, and that's an unintentional assist by South Hobart. Gossage putting that in harm's way, but South Hobart eventually clear. Delaney having to retrieve the ball herself out on the far side. A few of the young Zebras Academy around the ground, but not quite in that part of the pitch. As Delaney now hoofs that one into the sky, lets it bounce in the box. Mitsatsos couldn't quite get there. Now back out into the centre. Johnson is very close there, goes for the header. Johnston should be able to clean that one up. Monique Undy in the thick of the action in the box. Culloch. Anna Mitsatsos. Cleared by Kalanzi. You see McCulloch, the bright orange boots, take the throw in.
This with the intended target. Good work in midfield again from Carter, but numbers win out. Bowden as well for Zebras, scrapping away in there now. Lucy Johnson with a raking ball. It's well cleared though to Coy. Back to Carter. Westwood making the run, played in behind her though. And easy for Kalanzi. Lucy Johnson is dropping deep. Through to Georgia Burt. Held up by Andy, who springs Bowden in on goal here. She drives and well parried away by Johnston. And then some fantastic defending and enjoying the follow-up somersault as well there. Gossage, but defended that nicely to their corner. Bowden was in behind here. Well done. Carrying that one a bit further away from the striker on this occasion.
A double forward roll there from Gossage afterwards as well as making the effective tackle, getting some style points at the end of it, which is always a bonus up here at Slice of Cheek, if you like that sort of stuff. There from Gossage. O'Brien in a short corner for the first time so far, eventually hoofed back in, missed clearance, and not sure what Monique Undy was doing there, sticking the hand up in the general direction of the ball. Not quite as big a fan of. It's McCulloch robbed by Johnson, who goes to step over to get a yard of space. Mitsatsos sticks the body in the way, and a penalty given from Charlie White. Quite know if that was inside or outside the box there from Mitsatsos. Lovely work from Johnson. And just have to get the old rewind slow-mo on that one.
Yeah, just fell into that one. Johnson tumbling down in the box, but first we'll see Alyssa Bowden step up as we have a look here. Drops the shoulder, surges inside. Oh, I don't know about that one for mine, Paul. What are your thoughts?
First of all, it wasn't in the box, and then we'll debate the contact a little later.
Anyway, we'll have a look at the resulting spot kick first. Bowden with a chance to make it 3-0 and to put this game to bed, and perhaps a bit of justice served there as Johnson denies, and then they just keep it out. Well, I think that is probably justice in the end. And great goalkeeping from Margot Johnston. That's a terrific stop.
That is an absolutely fantastic penalty save from Margot Johnson. Alyssa Bowden confidently striding up, not quite in the corner, but does well to get down. That's kind of that spot where it can occasionally creep under. Great bravery, throwing the head and hands in the way, and then a good clearance off the line again. South Hobart done very well there.
Yeah, well done. I think it was Mitsatsos getting back. And the 3 Zebras who just sniffed the goal and were charging at her. And she got there first and whisked it away. And they survived there, so no harm done in the end from what seemed a fairly liberal penalty. Johnson just hoodwinking the referee a little bit on that occasion, I think, as Caitlin Roberts tries to get him behind, but Gossage defends her flank well. So we'll have another look at the penalty save and the resulting chaos that soon followed. Rebound denied, and then bang! Johnson sniffing the goal, charging him, but well done Mitsatsos. He's been pretty solid again tonight as Hobart Zebras make a sub, and that's going to be Lucy McGregor replaced by Sarah Morris. So Lucy McGregor's first hit out as a Zebra, a pretty impressive performance from mine. She looked very tidy in the midfield, but having not been involved in the pre-season action, you can probably understand why she's been hooked a little early in this contest, still building that match fitness, no doubt. Bowden with a pocket of space, and she's got one thought on her mind. Didn't make the sweetest of contact though, and it's comfortably dealt with by Johnson.
Yeah, it ran into rest of the McGregor clan on the way in today. They were very happy at the prospect of Lucy playing here at North Hobart Oval tonight. And yeah, good hit out for her. I'm sure as the match fitness builds and if she keeps up that form, I think one of those centre midfield spots will become hers for the rest of the season as it rolls out. I believe a goal kick. Doesn't quite fix the scoreboard either here at North Hobart Oval, but here's what it's Margot Johnston now with a short goal kick. Just can't quite get that one to McCulloch. Good leg out there from Morris. McCulloch now throwing it down the wing, right to the noggin of Westwood. Mundy now picks it up and Morris again with the first chance to attack down the left-hand side. Settering ball falls to the Zebras, but nothing going there. Monique Undy certainly put the foot through it, but South Hobart defending very tight as always. Maddie O'Brien now with a good intercept, stepping up. Now to Roberts. Towards Undy, who'll battle back and win the ball. Georgia Burt looking out wide to Morris, but Clark read that one rather well and was in the perfect position to intercept that one. Clark misplaced it to Bowden, and then Bowden miscontrols. The team just getting a foot on it as Morris will chase this one and keep it in. There's at least Undy in the box, Roberts at the far post, and it's right in the middle. McCoy managing to clear. Zebras again, winning the ball back. South Hobart, once they clear it, just can't quite get the ball and keep it for a little while. It's Zebras really piling on the pressure here. Mason plays it to Kalanzi. Very good defending up top there from Westwood. Probably a more natural role. 1-2 with McCulloch and eventually gets it back. Mason misses the ball there. Probably the first time all game. Eventually hooks cleared by Kalanzi. Burt to Delaney. Roberts on the far side turns magnificently to create a good bit of space. Monique Undy up there, so is Johnson. 1-2. And it's eventually cleared from Mitsatsos, but Zebra's really having most of the ball here in this second half. See the stalwart Maddie O'Brien. Changing passes with Bowden. Kalanzi looking in the Morris direction. McCulloch looking towards the touchline. Hasn't got too many options down the wing and has managed to find Abby Clark, which is muscled out by Alyssa Bowden. Roberts making inside. Lucy Johnson jigs past, goes the chip again, and that one's a bit closer than the last couple of efforts. Really only got eye for goal as soon as she gets her head up and in a bit of space. As we see a double change for South Hobart. It's Nikki Moutsatsos coming on, as well as Tishon Choi, who I thought was one of the best for South Hobart last week. Coming off. I haven't quite turned around yet. There we go. Thank you very much, Abby Clark. And number 17, it was Rebecca Kelly who was the other player coming off as we go back to live play. Zebra's in attack here and Moutsatsos manages to clear the ball. Got into a pocket of space on that right-hand side, did Caitlin Roberts.
Tight zoom blast.
As O'Brien jogs over for the corner kick. Mason not electing to come up for this corner despite being in a bit of space when she's been up. O'Brien just manages to fold to Morris. Oh, sorry, that was at the back post.
Yeah, Ryan bowling up and almost directing that one goal, just firing over the top in the end.
Not taking the corner for once.
Now Morris has slipped on. from the distance we're at can understand that one. It's fairly removed from the action up here, but I've got to say it's a wonderful view from the commentary box we've got. We can play more games here as far as I'm concerned, Paul.
Yep, just need to get the face recognition tool a bit better from up here, and we're in perfect spot up here, right over the centre line. Perfect view of all the action, especially all of Lucy Johnson's jinx and turns that she likes to whip out. It's another prime example there. Bowden into the box. Monique Undy and just leant back slightly. Absolutely kicks herself after that one. Knew that was a gilt-edged chance.
Yeah, all that was missing was the finish. It was a lovely build-up play from the Zebras, working it around the box quite nicely. Short, sharp passes. And just as you say, Paul leant back on the shot in the end. Perhaps still learning the trade as a striker. Monique Undy is Carter. Oh, that's well defended there. Lucy Johnson putting the body on the line. And keeping them penned back in deep here. The press in full effect from the Zebras. Have tried to play their way through it. Almost succeeded, but they were one pass short. And now Lucy Johnson gets her foot back on the ball. Retreats to Georgia Burt. Slightly overhit pass. And well done Westwood. Won it back. Full south. But again, they've just gifted it a little too easily. Undy. Burt in acres of space here is Morris. She drives it to the back post. In the end, it's well wide of the mark. They've just lost their radar a little bit this half. The Zebras. Shooting accuracy dropping off.
Yeah, it certainly is. They just can't quite get on the end of the crosses and the final through ball. And it's taken me a couple of games. I finally figured out who Lucy Johnson reminds me of. I need to use a male equivalent, but reminds me of watching Dimitar Berbatov back in the, you know, just those silky step overs and peeling off the front line into the pocket of space between midfield and defence and just linking up and then occasionally producing that moment of magic.
And just looking like she's cruising around in fifth gear, barely giving a damn, and then all of a sudden, bang. Yeah, I don't mind that comparison. Similar magical type players just make things happen. They're the game breakers every coach wants.
I think it's just that step over, and then, you know, those players who occasionally pull between the lines get accused of laziness and things, but as we saw with that tracking back and that tackle, certainly not afraid to put the body on the line. So that's my comparison for the day.
Yeah, she does a really good job controlling her speed and varying the accelerations. You'll just be dwelling on it, and then bang, accelerates, and she's in behind here, Johnson, and she probably made the wrong decision. Fired a bit too soon, maybe tiring a little bit, I'd have thought, judging by that effort, is Johnson. Hands on the hips, rather than surging into the box, just took the shot a little early.
Yeah, I thought could have taken an extra touch or two running into the box there. Georgia Carter gets a foot on the ball, and Eddie O'Brien takes that one expertly with the shoulder. Now to Morris. Now Burt, now Undy again, who's in that pocket of space. I think she wanted that on her right foot. It's on the left-hand side, so went for the cross-field pass, and again, probably not the best option there. Just the decision-making in the final third is about the only fault I can have with the Zebras' performance here this evening.
She's a bit too unselfish there. Wanted to square it back for Lucy Johnson. Probably would have been well within her rights just to pull the trigger, as some cramp or leg injury on the far side of the pitch. South Hobart player. And unfortunately, I think it might be injury by that reaction. Looks like her night will be done. So South, having just made a couple of substitutions, and might well have to swing in their last one of the evening here.
Yeah, and like enforce one due to injury. As we just get a very good look at that Zebras logo flag we saw last week, proudly displayed after their cup victory. Nice bit of artwork there.
The highlight of that was still watching Gabrielle Marquez trying to climb a fence to hang it for half an hour before the game. I think a better solution offered this week as we pause here for the injury. 25 minutes to go in this one. It's South trailing the Zebras, a couple of goals to nil. They're hanging in there. It's been all Zebras, especially in the second half. They've been unable to add to it. So we'll probably have a few minutes at a time now. On to this one. Of course, the first of 2 games this evening. NPL at 7:45 with these same 2 teams being pitted against each other. And
so Gossage, who's down on the far side, is 18, is Bella de Klerk looking to come on. Or not. Yes, it is.
yeah, it was just a tease from Copper, the 4th official there. Just flashed his board.
And
very briefly. They're deciding if they're in fact going to make the sub, I think. Craig Westwood sprinting onto the pitch. I'm not sure this has been the speediest of processes.
no. The severity of the injury in any way is about yay far from off the pitch as well.
Yeah, well, obviously lost Ferrier last week to a calf, and they'll be hoping they're not going to have more injuries here. And Gossage, who's been pretty solid in defence tonight for a side. She's back to her feet now, which is a good sign, but I was going to say, surely not going to walk her across the pitch, are they? Glad to see Charles White's on top of that.
Hopefully not another calf injury for South Hobart, as Ferrier last week, and Gossage, who's been very, very good at fullback tonight. Those throw-ins as well as the general play, and we'll hope for a speedy recovery there as Clerk comes on. Eventually corner kick will be taken. Waiting over this one for a while as started quickly. O'Brien go to the penalty spot. Cleared. Georgia Burt fires it back in. McCulloch clears it afar again as Burt. Undies in a little bit of space, controls it, knocks it down and puts a foot through it. Is Alyssa Bowden, but manages to put that one through for her behind rather than in the back of the net.
Yeah, just the behind there for her, but they've been closer to those goals than the football ones, unfortunately, in the South Zebras. Their shooting's been well off, as we have confirmation of that substitution, but yeah, I just think they've got it in their head after a couple of good goals in the first half. Just pulling the trigger a little bit too soon now. It's a long ball. It's going to be tracked down, you'd imagine, by Ponting, who will just let this one roll out. She hasn't had too much to do in the Zebras net tonight, Casey Ponting. She'll certainly have busier games this season, you would assume.
Yeah, certainly hasn't had a whole lot to do, especially this second half. I'm just struggling to think of another time she's touched the ball in this half, to be honest, as Johnson, that one was fired strongly at her foot. Good to see Gossage has made her way under primarily her own steam all the way back to the grandstand, so let's hope for nothing too serious there. As Burt plays to the head of Morris. Undy battling well up top. Plays in Roberts. Johnson dropping into that deeper role. Like a little back heel to Burt. Nick Undy playing that target role exceptionally well, and again another shot off target for Hobart Zebras. They must be pushing 5 or 6 in this second half alone.
Yeah, they've been well off, pretty accurate in the first half. Most of the shots were on target, testing down Margot Johnson. They had a few like that earlier, but yeah, they've been well off here. But at 2-0 with 20 minutes to go, the game's still very much looking theirs. It would be quite the comeback for South. But the door still slightly ajar if they can pull one back, and perhaps a chance on the counter-attack for them here. A little drop pass Carter was not expecting at all. Now the substitute to Clerk. Looking it forward, Maddie O'Brien. Imperious as ever at the back though. And they've gone forward. She's had it under control, although it's a little bit too casual. Carter after this one bounced over her head. Perfect arching bounce from a Zebra's perspective. Now Johnson with the first time ball. It's well cut out. It's going to come back at them again. Johnson again launching the diagonal for Morris, who looks to run. That's a great sliding challenge to win it back. It's Beryl charging off down the right. That was a fantastic challenge to her side and then smashes it over the top. It was Mitsatsos in fact, as O'Brien just about deals with this under pressure, but it's a bursting run from Fader to get there first at the back post. She's got a couple to pick out. Unfortunately, she picked out the head of Maddie O'Brien, who steered it away.
Yeah, well, frantically pointing up here that Kishon Choi was making that late run. That's the direction she was going for, but quite the accuracy as Johnson lays it to Burt, looking for Undy, but well cut out there by Beryl. George Burt picking the ball back up to Delaney. Now Bowden, who manages to turn Choi expertly. Johnson again. He's putting a foot on the ball and slowing the tempo down a tad before ramping it up with a shot. Johnston putting her body behind that one and catching rather comfortably. Watching the long throw, but right down the throat of Kalanzi. Well cut out by McCulloch for a Zebra's throw in. Quickly taken. Johnson again. Just teasing the South Hobart midfield. Lays it back to Maddie O'Brien. Play it to Kayla Mason, who could be forgiven for a bit of rust there with that pass, as it's probably the first one she's made in about 20 minutes. Long through ball by McCulloch. Yeah, that goes right to the keeper, Ponting. Moves it out to Maddie O'Brien, who slices South Hobart's defence there. Out to Roberts.
Looking pretty comfortable at the moment, aren't they?
They really are. Just stroking it about at their leisure in the centre of the park. Really want South Hobart, who made all three subs, to the three new players in the centre of the park. Do a bit of the running, as some of those that have been out there all game are starting to look a little bit tired. One with boundless energy is Eliane Fader. Is in looking for Mitsatsos. O'Brien clears that one well to Clerk. Getting an awkward bounce with that one. And then immediately given away from Roberts, who looking centering ball for Westwood, and Ponting comes out to collect that one comfortably. Searches out wide for Morris, who just gets the ball through the legs of Carter. Now Johnson. Looking for Rundy, she just gets a toe on it, but not quite enough purchase to put in Morris, and McCulloch will put that one out for a throw.
Just desperately stretching to get a toe on that one, Undy. Couldn't quite change direction quickly enough and steer it into the path of Morris, who's caused a few problems since coming on with her direct style. Here's Undy shielding the ball, works it back for Johnson. Turning pass for Roberts, shielded it nicely. Now Georgia Burt again over the top. And just not been able to direct these shots in the second half. Been firing consistently from distance. If she had a map of where all the shots were coming from, they'd largely be outside the box.
The heat map and then where they end up as well would end up somewhere about where a conversion would be in rugby league, because they have been consistently hitting it in line with the goals, but about 5 to 10 yards over the top, as Johnson manages to intercept that one. Using the body well against Carter. Bowden just gets a toe in ahead of Choi. Down to Burt. Undy rolls the central defender, and Morris on the attacking role there, always following up. Johnson again and just decides to keep that one in. Teasing everyone with a throw-in opportunity there as Bowden goes to Undy, who does lovely to get around with Mitsatsos and puts her foot through it, but Margot Johnson there all down to collect. Undy, who, as we've said before, not a usual role up top, but with skill like that, she'll be holding down that position for some time.
Yeah, she brought the space nicely there, sold the defender down the river. The shot well saved again by Margot Johnson, who after laying in that early one has recovered well and had a pretty solid outing, especially in the second half. She's made 4 or 5 good stops for her side. And very busy, as the Zebras have just peppered the net tonight. And here they go again through Undy. They want to seal the deal on this one, find the third goal that would kill the game off. Roberts, and now Johnson, another first-time shot. Another comfortable save for Margot Johnson. And nearly enough power to test her. On that occasion, Burt's head up to Morris, returned to Georgia Burt. Works it for Randy, who turns in plenty of space. Lucy Johnson draws the defender, and then again, wafting one towards the goals. It was never really going to threaten. Sean Shoy now picks it up. Carter, dispossessed by Bowden. Had a good game in the middle today. As Bowden, again, the strength of Undy to hold off a defender and looks to play in Caitlin Roberts. Tracking back nicely was the substitute to Clerk and sees it out of play.
And she does, and with 15 minutes to go, it's a pretty comfortable half here for the Zebras. Still surprised they haven't managed to add another one to the scoreboard. Throw in. It's cleared up to Nikki Mutsatsos. O'Brien gets a toe in. And that was fired at the mid-region of Mutsatsos, but does well to get that under control. Kayla Mason now to Burt. Now to Undy. Eventually out wide, Sarah Morris. People calling for it in the centre, one of whom's Roberts. Now Burt, who again tries a spectacular effort from far away. Margot Johnson had plenty of time to assess that one. And gets a good fist to it. Puts it out for a corner. That was surprisingly probably the furthest out and probably the most on target so far in this half.
Yes, pretty good hit in the end from Georgia Burt. Just went back and cracked it, and much like she did in the first half when she was denied by the woodwork. This one she got down a little bit more, but too much in the end, and parried away by Johnson, who is just racking up the saves tonight in the South Hobart net. They've done well to keep it at 2-0 here. Have the visitors. O'Brien towards the back post. Mason again. She's been making that exact same run all night. And this time the header, she wins it, but directs it wide. That's the third corner in a row she's made that exact same run. She made pretty good contact in the end. Wide enough.
Yeah, probably enough to confidently see that one wide, but again, it's Kayla Mason consistently making that run. Even had time to plant her feet and direct that one, but just gone wide of the goal. Lady now with a quick throw to Melissa Bowden. Dundee, it's intercepted by Coy. Choi couldn't quite keep that one under control. Morris now to Burt. Johnson again looks up and goes the chip. That one again falls wide. I think that's a repeat. Just this half feels like it's just been played on loop so far.
Yeah, it's been Groundhog Day type stuff, really. Generally worked it nicely down to the final third, got to the top of the box, and then just smashed one first time. And unfortunately for the Zebras in this half, often enough they've been able to ask the questions. Margot Johnson, and that's why it remains as it was at half time. 2-0, and indeed, after about 20 minutes, at stage South looking like it could be a difficult night for them, but they've done pretty well to hang in there. Mason leads this one back and lays it to Ponting. It'd get really interesting if South could just nick one late here, though, because they have left the door ajar a little.
They certainly have, and they're more than happy to push on in search of a third. Zebras. O'Brien and Mason primarily staying back as Delaney in a pretty attacking position there. Cut down by de Klerk, but Undy now picking the ball up, and Mutsatsos manages to get a toe in. Well kept in by Monique Undy. And a little bit of toe work there from Roberts. There's a fair bit of background noise up here in the commentary box. Few things trying to be organised. It's well intercepted from Carter. Really good overlapping run on the left-hand side there, but I'm entirely sure they saw the options. Lucy Johnson now just strutting the ball around at her leisure. Out to Roberts. Tries to get it through to Undy. Georgia Burt in an attacking position, manages to get that through the legs, taking a touch. There is Mary Coy, which is always dangerous that close to your own goal. Fader now finally gets a chance to show off that pace under the lights of North Hobart. It's Fader against O'Brien. They just sold that one a little too much to the experienced centre back. Fader showing a good turn of pace there on Delaney.
Yeah, she burned off one defender quite nicely, but the ever-present Matty O'Brien was on hand to deal with it. A little first-time flick there from Choi, but an ounce to nothing. Fonzie will take the goal kick inside the final 10 minutes here. You'd imagine after the injury there'll be a few minutes of added time. Can Zebras add to their lead, or will it be as it has been for much of this contest? A 2-0 result. Long ball from O'Brien, searching for Roberts. Buffeted there by de Klerk. He plays it back there to Beryl. Can't keep it in. The Zebras will take back over. Throw in from Delaney. That's the impressive Bowden. They've looked very, very comfortable all evening, the Zebras. Good command of this one. Well, that's a sumptuous first touch from Monique Undy. Brought it down on a dime. And Bowden. It's for Burt. Goes over the top with a searching ball, looking to cause a little bit of trouble as Undy Morris lurked behind and smashed it. And the shot was blocked. One back again. Right, Kevin Roberts. Throw in an advanced area, and again they're just camping down in this final third, knocking on the door, but they can't quite find that third.
No, not quite that third. A pretty good shot there from Morris, but again defended possibly with the help of Undies. Carter's now on the ball for South Hobart. Out to Fader. It's the one in an advanced position, which is Mitsatsos, but between Mason and Ponting they should have that pretty well covered. Ponting launching that one into the night sky, under the head of, well, taken down from Pishon Choi, but quite past that one. Morris. Under the wing with Lucy Johnson is battling. Cullick looking to press Mason. Now Johnson again, strolling into the middle of the park. Well cut out by Westwood, returning to a more familiar defensive role there for the moment. Well kept in from Sarah Morris, and he gets a nutmeg on Moutsatsos, but wins a corner. See Kayla Mason strolling up for this one, so still that attacking intent there, moving the centre backs up. Morris looks over the corner kick. Hopefully going in the back post direction, where Fairview Zebras. Johnston gets two palms to it. Mason looking to try and keep that one in, and does. He plays on the edge of the box, one of which is Roberts. And Georgia Burt plays it back to Delaney. Again, a nice turn from Burt, trying to find a little pocket of space. Ends up back to O'Brien. Kalanzi still trying to break down this pretty compact South Hobart defence. Now Moutsatsos trying to get an extra bit of space, puts a through ball through to Fader, manages to get there, and goes the chip. Ponting easily able to see that one out wide as the Zebras men's team prepare in the background. Good use of space there on this oval-sized playing oval, funnily enough.
Yeah, strange playing oval if it wasn't oval-sized, that's
Mind
for sure.
you, South Hobart Oval, Darcy Street. It's pretty rectangular.
Yeah, yes, I've never thought of it as an oval.
Just given its official name.
A sub being made here by the Hobart Zebras, and looks like Alana Kalanzi will come on for Erin Delaney. Who's perhaps just showing a couple of signs of tiring there. First time all night really we've seen Fader getting in behind. She's done that twice, the youngster, but a good shift from Erin Delaney. Really kept her in check, especially early when the game was there to be won, and Zebras still searching for that third goal. Can they get it this time? Galloping forwards here Here's Roberts, a little bit isolated, so pulls it back to the newly introduced Kalanzi. You can see Fader quickly making up the ground. Oh, like a red flash there, and they've won the ball back. Good defensive work from the young winger there. Into the final moments of this one, barring anything drastic, it's going to be the Zebras starting off this year, as nearly every single time they hit the pitch last year ended with a victory. A dominant run set to go on here, unless South can find some late inspiration. Mason should be able to sweep this one up.
Who do you think will be their biggest challenger this season to, well, both for the title and I guess in their undefeated streak? Ulverston and City, probably most likely.
Yeah, I think Launceston City are probably the team you'd expect to will test them the most. They gave them a couple of great games last year. Shelley Cook was huge in 2 of their meetings, and that was probably the difference in those games. That's why the streak continued on. It was a day up in Launceston when they were definitely the second best team, especially in the second half, but they still got a point. So I think with a few of the players they've lost, yeah, they're a little bit more vulnerable, but certainly McGregor, Johnson, Roberts, it's 3 fantastic players. State representatives have come in, the strong get even stronger. I think if it is going to come to an end, this streak, it'll be later in the year, maybe when the injuries hit, but City would be the ones. I think Taroota are the other team, but they've got a few injury worries to start the season. I'm not sure. It's going to be tough for them perhaps to challenge for the title off the basis of that. Izzy Atavi with an injury looks like being a tough blow for them to handle, but I think they've got probably the best defence in the league, and certainly in a cup game or in their league meetings, they're a side that would be capable of ending this streak. But really, beyond that, I think Zebras will continue to do as they did in 2017.
Well, it's a bit of a cliche. Never liked playing down at Kelvedon Park in my playing days. It's always a very tricky place to play, especially if the wind's up and you get a bit of intimidation there from the hill up there, as it's a lovely turn by Roberts.
They can get Adelaide 8 and fit, just that'll be a big factor too.
Yeah, just Taroona, down at Taroona whenever that game is on, I reckon, as well as City away will be a big one there as we have a couple of minutes left in this match. Lovely ball through to Morris. 2 in the box goes the chip, and that one again just over the top. It's a common theme this second half. It's just hitting the roof of the net or going over the crossbar, and by my count, that's probably double figures in terms of shots off target for this half. Down to still be eagerly awaiting Copper's signal for how much stoppage time there'll be. To McCulloch. Forward to Moutsatsos. Mason reading that one well. And as far as Georgia Burt, Mason now trying to join into the attack and puts in a lovely through ball towards Roberts, but Johnston had that one read the whole way. Now out to Clerk. Looking for Fader. Eventually gets it off, it's a substitute, Kalanzi for the Zebras. Fader now on the wing. Mason trying to come across with Moutsatsos just with a heavy touch, and O'Brien can stick a leg out. Vicious ball into the box, missed, and Westwood just couldn't quite get a touch on that one. Ball's back, put in the air, Choi up there, but Ponting gets a fist to it, and Mason hooks that one clear as we reach to the 90th minute. The first real time this half Zebras have been put under pressure. Caitlin Roberts laying that one back, intercepted by Choi. Now, Mr. Bowden. Out wide to Morris. McCulloch for company. Undy making an inside run, and that's where it goes. Monique Undy knocks that one around. Bowden coming in, tries to round the keeper, and just getting too casual. Hobart Zebras desperately trying to put the ball in the back of the net and trying to walk it in, and potentially just should have put the boot through it.
Well, they've now found the opposite problem, haven't they? It's been them firing from every single direction. We're going to replay that one in a moment. It's been the MO this half, that one. Yeah, if you've called there, they've tried to walk it in, and really they should have. It was sumptuous football right up until the finish, which was sadly lacking. And the Zebras probably want to be a little bit sharper as the season wears on, as Fader tries to make inroads down the left. They've been a bit profligate tonight. And that really should have been 3-0, but South Hobart survive, and tremendous credit to this young defence and to Margot Johnson in goals for keeping it 2-0. Whilst there's been some wasteful shooting, they've still had a number of good chances in this second half and been unable to find a way home. That's either a handball or a foul. The referee decides neither, fair enough anyway. Morris plays it into the middle for Bowden. They thread the run of Undy, but straight through to the keeper again. It can't be too long left now. We're into added time. There's an injury, so there'll be a couple of minutes. But Sting seemingly out of this game now. Can Zebras finally find the third? They have long been threatening to score. And on this occasion, again, shut down by the substitute who puts that one into play there, de Klerk.
Safety first there from de Klerk. Referees for the MPL not bothering to retrieve the ball there. Possibly could have moved the 5 metres to the left there, boys. Letting the game play its natural course. Lanzi coming across to take the throw in. Throwing towards Burt. Touches it into space. Troy manages to play that expertly off her knee for a corner kick, and like most games in the world, 3 minutes of stoppage time for the second half seems to be the norm. We have had pretty much all the subs here today, so we'll see what Charlie White decides to do. Let's time play on.
Yeah, the injury probably added a couple of minutes, you'd imagine. As this will be a goal kick, but the game, it does seem settled now as a contest. 2-0 to the Zebras. 2 early goals in the game too, inside of 20 minutes. First it was Lucy Johnson with the first goal of the season, and it could end up being the goal of the season. It was a terrific hit from Lucy Johnson, firing a laser top corner. And then next up it was Undy who gets her account off and running. And Roberts having her shot deflected into the path of Undy. The first effort was initially saved. Her second found the back of the net, and that was all the scoring this game would see. The next 70 minutes goalless. It wasn't through a lack of chances. The Zebras absolutely peppering the net of South Hobart, but they could not add to their tally. And so it ends here in the season opener of the WSL. Hobart Zebras 2, South Hobart 0.
Yeah, very comprehensive performance by the Hobart Zebras, especially in the second half. Pretty much kept the game in third gear and had dominant amount of possession. Just couldn't quite put that possession into goals on the scoreboard. Again, plenty of chances in that second half, but Lucy Johnson's fantastic effort in the first 5 minutes really put at the momentum. And as with that, we'll have a quick break and we'll have the first MPL game of the season coming up in a moment.